Well, welcome to I'm sorry, I'm just flabbergasted with the amount of energy it's taken to get here tonight. It's just been an incredible learning curve and a journey for myself. So let's start again. Welcome, and I'm really glad to see you here. Wherever you're joining from, I just want to acknowledge you for taking the time, for taking this time for yourself. Because I know that often we come into spaces like this, not because everything is going well, but because in life something has shifted. And when life falls apart, it can feel like you've lost your footing, your identity, and a sense of who you are. So tonight's not about fixing anything. It's simply a space to pause, to reflect, and to perhaps gently explore what it means to rebuild from that place. I just have to see what YouTube's telling me. Nothing. Okay. It pops up with messages. So there's no pressure to share, no expectation to have answers. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. And I used to say to my students at school when they're complaining about various subjects as well, life subjects are like a bag of jelly beans. Some you absolutely love, others, yeah, they're okay. And then other stuff, no way, Jose. um, so I'll share a little of my own experience and then we'll walk through some patterns I've seen, especially around the masks we wear and what begins to happen when those start to fall away. So, my story, a little bit of background here. Married for 40 years, usual ups and downs, good and bad, all the rest of it. And then suddenly, my world as I knew it no longer existed. And I fell into the deepest, darkest abyss with absolutely no sunlight at the top to see. I suffered identity loss, uncertainty, and it was the mask I was wearing to get through those days at work. One day, I realized I had to make some hard decisions if I did not want to stay stuck in the abyss. And I certainly didn't want to stay stuck down there. So when a coaching course was suggested, I said, there's no way I want to be a coach. This lady said, yes, you do. You want to do this course because it will just help shift the rubbish that you're still finding is sitting in your head. So I did it and I got through it and I thought, wow, this is so enlightening. This has given me tools to move forward. And along my journey, I had seen, sadly, several, if not many women who just did not know how to move forward. They didn't have the tools to move forward. And first of all, you need the grit inside you to say, enough's enough, I'm moving forward. Secondly, you need some tools to do that. And it was after doing this course and moving forward that I realized that I actually had worn various masks at different times. And in particular, throughout the divorce, I hid behind that mask of I was tough, I was coping, I'm capable, I am fine, there's nothing wrong in my world. When behind the scenes, everything had crumbled and had fallen to pieces. And we wear masks not because we're fake, but because we're protecting ourselves. And we learn to adapt to survive, to cope, to belong. And the mask often forms during, guess what? Pain, loss, and expectations from others. Expectations, not necessarily during the pain and the loss part story, but just simply expectations, how to perform, how people will expect you to behave, the cultural settings behind it. It's quite interesting. The mask isn't the problem. It actually is what's helped get us through. But over time, it begins to crack. And life has a way of stripping things back. And life has a way of stripping things back big time, right to the core, naked. Something happens, divorce, illness, loss, a major life shift. And before we know it, what used to work doesn't work anymore. What once protected us no longer fits who we are becoming, who we are evolving into. So for me, there was divorce and there was illness. And this is the part many people can struggle with. Me, I struggled with all three of the following. Identity loss. I was no longer Mrs. um, that was incredible. It's still, when I reflect upon that, it still has a significant impact. I was no longer a wife. I was no longer a mother. I was no longer lots of things. Everything had been stripped away. I felt everything had been stripped away from me. There was mass confusion, confusion about my future, confusion about who am I now? Where am I going? What's my purpose? Where's my direction? And at 62, to have all of that taken away from you like that was pretty darn powerful. Yes, it set me on my haunches. Yeah. And it's important to recognize and acknowledge that this is not failure. This is a transition point. And that's easy to say in hindsight, because there were lots of times that I thought that I'd failed as a wife, as a mother. I'd failed lots of things, right? And it took a while to realize that I wasn't the failure. And with the tools and with support and help, I realized it was a transition point. So rebuilding isn't about going back. It's not about fixing the old version. You're not going back to who you were because you've had these experiences. You are becoming someone new. And in actual fact, if you look back to when you were married, or if you look back 25, 50 years ago, right? You are not that person now because you have had life experiences that have changed you, helped you evolve, helped you become stronger, put different perspectives, help you see things from different perspectives. Right. And so you're not going back to that person. You are evolving. You are becoming a new person. You are becoming a stronger person. And it starts small. First of all, with awareness. Awareness of the situation that you want to change. You need to change. For me, I needed to make some harsh decisions, some really harsh decisions to claw myself up out of that abyss, to finally get my legs over the top. And as I was sitting there out of that abyss, taking a breath, I was diagnosed with stage 3 metastases cancer. And it was incredible. And after the initial shock, I realized that I had the tools to move forward on this in a positive manner. And I took a deep breath and thought, wow, if only I'd had the tools to go through the divorce. But it was the divorce that led me to do the course to give me the tools to deal with this situation now. So I am not the person I was even just a few years ago. So it starts small. It starts with awareness of wanting to change, needing to change, having that bit of grit inside you that says, this is not where I want to be. This is where I am not staying. So awareness is really, really important. Then we need to be honest with ourselves. We need to take a careful look at what we are doing. What do we want to do? Where are our values? What are we aligned with? And you begin to let go of things, let go of that mask that you were perhaps hiding behind. You begin to make different choices from different levels, actually. Almost like this inner strength comes from within, obviously, inner strength, and just comes up and out. You are able to make different choices. You begin to trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call the third power. And it's most of the time it's not loud or dramatic. It's just a quiet, steady, but very real process. So here's a question for you to ponder upon. Where in your life are you being invited to let go of the old version of yourself? And I'll ask that one again. Where in your life are you being invited to let go of an old version of yourself? Just let that sit for a moment. Notice what came up for you without judgment, without needing to fix anything right now, and just acknowledge whatever surfaced, even if it feels unclear or unfinished. Because awareness is the first step. What you've just recognized matters. What you've just recognized matters big time. So just sit with that for a moment, because this is where change begins. And now, as we come to the end of this session, if something in this has resonated with you, if you're in that space of rebuilding or feeling like you're no longer who you once were, just know that you don't have to move through this alone. And if you'd like to continue exploring this work, you're very, very welcome to join me over on my YouTube channel, Thrive and Shine, where I share ongoing reflections and supporting content. Oh, excuse me. For those who feel ready for a deeper level of support, I do offer one-to-one coaching, where we work together more closely through this process at your pace and in a way that's grounded and personal to you. There's no pressure around that at all. But if you're feeling that quiet pull to go further, you're very, very welcome to reach out and explore what that could look like for you. Otherwise, take what you've experienced from that bag of chili beans, leave what doesn't resonate, and give yourself permission to move forward gently with it. Remembering you're not behind, you're not broken, you are becoming. Thank you for being here with me tonight.